Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel and welcome to another reading vlog where I'm gonna be reading Red Country. So Red Country is the sixth book in the First Law world, which is fantasy, and it is the third and last standalone after the initial trilogy. So like it is part of the series, but it is like the story is just contained in this book, and I will leave the links for the other videos of this series that I have in the description below. And I do really love this world, and I do really love the characters, and so I was very excited to get back into this world and to get into this book. And there are definitely spoilers in this reading vlog for like everything that happens in this book. And having said that, let's just get into it. Okay, so I have made it to page 153 of Red Country, which is 1/3. And so I went into this book knowing absolutely nothing about like the plot, because also like there's nothing that says the plot on the back. It just says the past never stays buried. So I went into it absolutely blind. And so we start following Shai and her, I guess, stepfather Lamb. And when they get back to like their farm, they discover that the farm has been burned, and like someone who had been like staying there is dead, and Shai's two younger siblings have been kidnapped. And so they get like on their way to try to find the kids. And actually, like in the very beginning, I don't know what they're talking about, I don't remember, but Lamb tells Shai, you have to be realistic. And I was like, that sounds a lot like Logan. And at the end of the trilogy, when he supposedly died, I knew that there was no way Logan had actually died like that. So I was like, okay, so this sounds like Logan. I'm guessing this is where he is. And then a bit later on, we got confirmation that Lamb has 9 fingers. So, Logan is Lamb, Lamb is Logan. So there's that. And they are, on their way to try to find the kids. And then they actually run into another guy whose siblings had been kidnapped. So they, join forces, and they are looking for these kids, and they learn like who took them and like in what direction they're being taken. So they are, going on that way. And then we're also following Koska, and he was sent to, I guess, try to like stop a rebellion or something like that. And they run into Shivers, and Shivers says that he's looking for a 9-fingered man because he heard that he is actually alive. So there's that, but we don't see Shivers. I mean, we see him like one more time after that, but he definitely has not found Logan/Lamb yet. And we also learn, and I don't know how relevant this is going to be, but we learn that, like, Koska learns that the guy who took the kids, he bought, like, horses from the rebels with, like, ancient coins. So I don't know, like, what that's going to be about, like, if that's going to really matter, but that happened. And then Temple, who was, like, Koska's lawyer, he's kind of, like, pissed about everything that is happening with, like, Koska and, like, what he's doing. So he leaves. I mean, before that, I guess, Shai and Lamb and that other guy, I think he's called Leaf, maybe, they join like a group of people that like are going in the same direction as they're going. So like they join that group of people, and then Temple like runs into them, so he also like joins their group, and we are following them as they are going in the direction that the kids are supposedly being taken. And that's basically where I'm at. Like this last chapter that I read was actually from the POVs of many different people like in that group. So we are, getting to know those people a bit better, I guess. And I'm liking it, but I am definitely not loving it. And like I'm only really invested in like Shai and Lamb's chapters, like in their journey. I don't really care about like Koska's chapters. And I'm assuming like obviously they're all gonna, you know, come together, everything's gonna connect. But like so far I don't really care about Koska's chapters. I'm only interested in the others. And like I am interested, and it's really fun to see Logan again, even though he's like very different. He's very like peaceful until like he had to actually fight, and Shai, who always called him like a coward, saw that actually he is, can be kind of scary. So yeah, other than that, he's trying to like be peaceful because he's done fighting, but then also like he had to fight, so he did fight. And yeah, I'm liking to see him again because it's been years, many years since the end of the trilogy. So yeah, it's nice to see him again, and I am invested in that part of the story, but I'm not loving it. I'm not like obsessed with it. Obviously, I like being back in this world and with some characters that I have met before, and also liking to meet the characters that I have not met before, but it's going okay. I'm enjoying it. I am not loving it. But yeah, I'm gonna read the next third, I guess, and I will come back with my thoughts. Okay, so I have made it to page 298, which is the end of part 3 and is pretty much 2/3 of the book. And so in this second third that I read, our group of characters, and when I say our group, I mean the group that has like Lem and Shai, they run into a group of people that they call the Ghosts, which from what I understood, and I don't know if I'm right, are likely native people from like that area. And there is, a fight, and some people die, and one of the people that dies is actually Leaf, who was like that guy that his brother, I think, had also been kidnapped. And then after that, their priest also dies, and then they like make Temple their new priest, who is like surprisingly good at it. And then they are like talking to try to negotiate with some other ghosts to, go through their territory, and they're talking, and then Lamb just kills them. So I did not expect that, although maybe I should have, but yeah, I did not see that coming. And so, they just kill them, and like they go through. And then like with the kids, we see that they are like given to the people that bought them, basically. So like Cantless leave them with the people that bought them. And apparently those people are the dragon people, and their leader, he gives Ro, and Ro is like Shai's younger sister, he gives her a dragon scale and says that like she's one of them now, and she's like his daughter, basically. So like there's that, and that's like creepy. And then like Shai and Lam, they get to Kreese, which is like a town city, and the mayor of Kreese is gonna have like a fight with a guy, but like it's not like the mayor's gonna fight the guy, like each of them is gonna have like a champion to fight for them. And the mayor wants Lamb to fight for her. And also there is a Magus there, I think it's called Zacharias or something. And he wants Temple to prepare a treaty, like since he is, a lawyer, he wants him to prepare a treaty where like the far country, which is, where they are, would be part of the empire. And then Shai meets a guy called Golden, and he says that like he'll help her find the kids and Cantless, but he is actually like the person who's gonna fight against Lamb. It's like he's gonna fight for the guy that he's against, the mayor. So, obviously that's not gonna work out very well. And then Cantless actually finds Shai, and he takes her. And then, she is sort of rescued, and she also like fights, and she's like about to kill Cantless, but he tells her that like they're gonna need him as a guide to get to where the dragon people are, because it's not a place like easily accessible, especially for people who have never been there, and so they will not get the kids without his help. And so, she ends up not killing him, and like they take him as a prisoner. And then we see the fight between Lamb and Golden, and they literally say that like Lamb tore Golden apart, literally. So, also very fun. And then one of the last thing that happened was that Casca gets there. So like everyone's, together now. And Casca is looking also for Kentless because he wants to know where like those ancient coins came from, and he knows that like Kentless was the person who used them, like who paid with them. So he wants to find Kentless, and the mayor does say that they do have Kentless there. And so he asks him where the coins came from, and he says that it was the dragon people and that they have a lot of those coins. And so now he also wants to go find those dragon people, and so now they're all gonna go on a journey together to find the dragon people. And the last thing that we see is like Rose, she's trying to run away, but she's actually caught by that guy who's the leader of the dragon people. And at the end, literally like in the last page that I read, he says, "Can I show you a wondrous thing?" And she says, "What thing?" And he says, "The reason why the maker left us here, the reason we remain." So I definitely want to see that wondrous thing. I'm definitely curious, but that is pretty much like how part 3 ends. So we haven't seen that thing yet, but I am definitely excited to see it. And yeah, I'm liking it more now. And like in this second third, we did mostly follow Shy and Lamb and like way less Casca. So, it was always or almost always like about the plot line that I was already, invested in, about the plot line that I really cared about. So I definitely liked this second third more than the rest. And, now that they're all together, I'm assuming it's also gonna be just, a plot that I'm interested in. So I'm definitely very excited to read the last third, and also very excited to see them get to the dragon people and like what the dragon people like have there, the wondrous thing that the guy wants to show Ro. Very excited to see that, very curious. And yeah, I'm definitely invested. I continue to love, the action scenes. I continue to love the fight scenes, and they're definitely very gruesome, which is just, what I expect from these books, but still has the humor that I also expect from these books and that I love. So yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it, and I am definitely invested and excited to read the last third. So I'm going to finish it, and I will be back. Okay, so I finished Red Country, and we learned that the dragon people basically like they want kids from other places because there are no kids born there. Like every member of the dragon people like was brought from somewhere else, and there's something about the land that makes them not be able to have children. And so that's why they, are paying someone else to, get kids for them. And we see that Pitt, who is Shy's brother, he basically like sees that place as his home now, and he doesn't really want to leave. And even Ro, like she tried to escape before, but now she's, very connected to those people in that place. And, the others get there, and so the dragon people, they gather to decide what to do about the outsiders, and there's one of them who wants to like let them in to know like what they're doing there and like why they are there, but the others just want to, kill them. So they do get in a fight, and they also find the kids. And Lamb, he, kind of like blacks out, I guess, as he, also used to do in the initial trilogy, and he almost kills Shy and Ro, but like everything turns out okay. And then the leader of the dragon people basically shows them that they have like an actual dragon, and they're like very close to waking up the dragon, and they could just, share its power, but Casca just has like one of his men kill him and also like steals his treasure because like the dragon has, a treasure. And so he wants to just take the treasure for himself. And the kids, like I said, don't really want to leave, and they're like really upset that they killed the person that now they saw like as their father. But eventually they do get the kids out, because I mean they went all the way to get the kids, and they were not just gonna leave the kids there. And the guy like from the Inquisition is really pissed at Casca because they went all the way there, because Casca said that they would find rebels there, but obviously Casca just wanted a treasure, and he was like, well, that's what you get for working with mercenaries. And then they go like their separate ways. But then Lamb decides to go back because one of his friends was like taken as a prisoner, because they thought that he was the leader of the rebels, so like he wanted to go back and save him. And they do get like in a lot of trouble, and Shai and Temple actually also went back. Shai wanted to go with Lamb, but Lamb told her like not to, and it was like really sad when he was like telling her not to follow him, because he said, I love you and them, but my love isn't a weight anyone should have to carry. Best of luck, Shai, the very best. Like that was so sad, but she does go after him because she sees him like as her father. And she asks Temple to go with her, and they go and they like create a distraction, but then they are like followed, and they are like about to die, and they are saved by the rebels. And the leader of the rebels is actually the niece of the guy that they thought was the leader. And they are saved, but they are still in trouble, so they go back to Kreese, where they had like that mayor that Lamb fought for, and they ask for her help. And so they pretend that they have, that treaty that's the Empire wanted. So they sign it, and they pretend that they have like a guy from the Empire, but it's actually like an actor. And so they scare the others away. And so that also turns out okay. And then Casca appears once again saying that he, wants his money, he wants his treasure. And they're like, it was never your money, it was never your treasure. And then he was like, I just wanted, to try to make things better, to try to redo things, and just, not be the person that I am. And I was like, are they trying to make me feel bad for him? Because, like, I kind of don't. So, yeah, he's actually killed. So, there's that. And then at the end, we see Lamb and Shai and the kids back at the farm, and Shivers appears. And Lamb is, like, ready to fight him, / kill him, / possibly die. And Shivers basically just like lets it go. He just says, long way home for me. Gotta tell them that the Nightfinger bastard is back to the mud, don't you think, Master Lamb? And Lamb says, long dead and gone. And Shivers says, all for the best, I reckon. Who wants to run into him again? Some men just ain't stamped out for doing good. But it feels all right even so, to let go of something. And he turned his horse and headed east of town. So Shivers left, but Lamb is like, he knows that one day there will be an enemy from his past that will appear and won't just, let it go. And he knows that basically his past will catch up to not only him, but like Shai and the kids. So he decides to leave. And once again, it was very sad, because he says, the dead know I've made mistakes. Reckon a man could steer a perfect course through life by making all the choices I didn't. But I never regretted helping raising you three. And I don't regret that I brought you back, whatever it cost. And Shai tells him, we need you. And he says, no you don't. I ain't proud of much, but I'm proud of you. For what that's worth. And then he just like leaves, and it was really cute, but it was really sad, and I was unwell. But yeah, that's how it ended, so let's go into my final thoughts. So starting off with the characters, and obviously starting off with Lamb, it was great to see him again, because like Logan was definitely one of my favorite characters in the first trilogy, so it was great to see him again. And it was really nice to see him like have a family, maybe a dysfunctional family, but a family nonetheless. And like all the heartwarming scenes that he had with Shai, I loved. But at the same time, it was really sad to see him like struggle with his past. And like I said, at the end, it was very cute, but very, very sad, which is like, the worst / best combination. So yeah, it was really sad, but while it lasted, it was really nice to see. And then Shai, I also really liked her. I thought she was an icon, and I loved to see her like fight to get her siblings back, and then also fight to help Lamb. And again, like the scenes that they have, the heartwarming scenes, I absolutely loved. And Temple, like he definitely grew on me. I didn't really like him in the beginning, but he definitely grew on me. And I also liked how, he fought to help our other main characters. And Casca, I just, I didn't really like him in this book. And at the end, I was like, are they trying to make me feel bad for him? Because, like, I didn't, not really. So, yeah, I didn't really like him. And, like, I wanted more from the dragon people. Like, I thought they were very interesting, like, the chapters that we got from him. Like, I wanted to learn more. And I wonder if we will see more of them, like, in future books, because I would definitely really like to see more of them, to learn more about them. And yeah, in terms of the plot, I was always invested in the chapters that we were following Lamb and Chai, and in the beginning, not really the ones that were following Casca, but when everything converged, I was just enjoying the whole thing. And I also really liked to explore a, different area of this world, and obviously love to be back in this world and with some of the characters that I have already met, and also meet these new characters. And there were, as usual, great action scenes. It was very brutal, very gruesome, but at the same time, very funny. Although I feel like maybe this was the book with the least like amount of humor, but still, like, the humor that it had, I loved. It was definitely my type of humor, and it was very dark. And yeah, I liked it. I feel like I like this one more than the previous one, because in the previous book I didn't really connect to any of the characters, and in this one, like, I really like the characters. Not only, Lamb slash Logan, that's I already knew from previous books and, like, I already loved from previous books, but also Shai, I also, like, really connected to her. And so I was just very, invested in their journey because I cared about them. And in the previous book, I didn't really particularly care about anyone. So, I definitely like this one more. It's not one of my favorites in the world, but I did really like it. And I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars. And yeah, that is everything for this video. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you have enjoyed it. And if you did, give it a like and subscribe. And I will talk to you next time. Bye!